So the first variety that we're looking at is Delphin. We've not had this one in trial before, so it'll be interesting to see how this performs. Relatively new variety. We've got three different seed rates. This is just here is the 350, and then we move on to the 450, and then again the 550. Probably 450 and 550 looking a bit thinner than the 350, but it looks possibly has a bit of damage there. We then come on to the Yukon. Again, we didn't trial this one last year, so it'll be interesting to see how this one performs. And you can see for yourself, possibly looking a bit thicker than the Delphin. And certainly when we get down to the 500, that stand does look thicker, I would suggest. So I hope you can see that in the picture here. Eliane, which is a variety which 2017 harvest, it looked very good in terms of the grain quality. We had some good kernel contents for Eliane, so that was a bonus because it paid more for our farmers. So that's an interesting comment, and one that we're hoping will be repeated for in 2018. So we're now in front of the 450, and then again the 550 plot. Possibly a bit of damage there, quite a lot of stone in this plot as well, but again the Eliane looks reasonable establishment. So now we come on to Firth, which has been an old favourite, and again that as the 350 plot looks reasonably thick. Going on to the 450, again a nice establishment there of the Firth at 450, and thicker again still with the 550. So the Firth looks reasonably good there. So now we're coming on to the Mascani plot. We had some growers who grew Mascani as a spring drilled oat. The quality of it was as good spring drilled as it was winter drilled, so we thought we'd put it in trial and see how it matched up against the spring varieties. So again, possibly looking a bit thin there at 350. 450 you can definitely see a bit more oat there, and I guess maybe a bit slower to take off as it's a winter variety possibly, but coming on to the 550 plot, that does look a reasonable thickness of stand there, so we'll see how that does. And then the final plot that we've got, or final variety that we've got, sorry, is Spurtle. So Spurtle is an interesting one. It's something that's come out of a breeding project in the UK at Vibers. And it's not one that was going to make the recommended list, but the people at IBIS thought it might suit organics, and so we're quite interested to put it in the trials and see how it stacks up. So again, the Spurtle there at 350, and that does look pretty well established there. 450, possibly looking a little bit thinner, but we'll see how that develops through the season. And then finally the Spurtle at 550, and again perhaps a bit thin on the left hand side of the plot there, but towards the right hand side quite a nice thick cover. And then finally, before we get to the guard row on the end, this is a trial that we've put in, and this is based on some work that one of our farmers has done, and it's a concept of, he refers to it as 3D drilling, and the idea is to have competition within the soil at different depths, so that rather than putting all your seed at a single depth and then having that soil above that could potentially be producing weeds without any competition from the growing crop, you actually drill at different heights, so you've got sort of competition through the soil profile. And so we've asked Oxford Agricultural Trials that do put in the trial plots for us to try and replicate what he's doing. It's not exactly the way that he does it, but it's an approximation, and we thought it'd be interesting just to have a look at it, just a point of interest, and obviously something a bit innovative that might result in a benefit. He certainly thinks there's a benefit to the way he establishes his crop, so we'll see how that performs as well. But really just something of interest to have a look at on the day, on the 18th of July when we've got our trial day. Anyway, just an oversight of the plots, and I'll keep on going around just to show you this is the oat crop in the field. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Bye.